Hello, in this short video, I want to remind you of the work that you have for this week, conference week, the work that you have in Blackboard to do on your own. Now, of course, I need to see you during the time you signed up for your conference, and I would really appreciate it if you were reasonably early. So if you signed up at the top third of the list for that day, show up right at the opening of class, at the very beginning. If you're toward the middle, I would say come 15 minutes early, 20 minutes early than when you expect to go, so that if I have an opening, if I'm ahead of schedule, I can take you and work with you, and then you're on your way, and I have even more time to help someone who really needs some extra time. So it would really help me if you were right there when you said you were going to be there and ready to go. Bring a book, bring something to work on. Now, I don't need to see you in class other than that space, those 10 minutes or 8 minutes. So what are you doing outside of class? You need to go onto our Blackboard space, and you need to write up the results from the preliminary run through, the meeting you had with your field research team. Tell me what you did, what you talked about, who's in your group. So send me that information. I need each one of you to do that. Even though I know I'm going to be getting the same information from people in your group, it's going to help me give you the grade you earned through that. Blackboard isn't really set up at this point, or maybe it is, I just haven't learned where it is, to handle the group work. So I need you to send it in individually. It'll be there on our Blackboard page. Take a look in week 9. There'll probably be a miscellaneous assignment for you to do where I ask you to affirm that you've watched things or that you've read things, and I may have a quiz. It might be a quiz for the videos from last week. Okay, so there was stuff last week in week 8 that I did not hold you accountable in week 8 to do, but I told you they were there, that you needed to get them done. Now in week 9, I might have a quiz on some of those videos. So check our Blackboard space. If it's not there on Wednesday, check it on Thursday to see if a quiz doesn't pop up or not. I do know definitely that you have this task, that this quiz will be there, the quiz of Chaucer's Book of the Duchess. So this is the week I need you to sit down with that text. You bought it, and you sit down and read it. Now, that text has 2 versions. It has the Chaucer's English, early modern version, and it has a contemporary version written, I think, in the last 20 years or something. No, actually, it might have been written like in the early 1900s, but nevertheless, it's going to be different. You know, it's a more contemporary English rendering of the poem. And what I want you to do is I want you to read the contemporary version. It's the one that's written in paragraphs. It's in the back of your Book of the Duchess. It's I think for many of you, well, in my version, it was the last text. But then I want you to go back and I want you to read at least half of Chaucer's original poem. And what I want you to recognize is the subtleties that gets changed in the paraphrasing that the contemporary author who wrote Chaucer's poem in our English skips over or changes. All right, so you need to be able to compare a little bit of Chaucer's own rendering of this data, of this poem, against that against the modern English one. I use the word modern as contemporary English one. So you need to read half of Chaucer's own original poem, the poem in his own writing. You need to read the whole story as it's been rendered recently through our type of a more familiar colloquial type of English that will be written in paragraphs. You need to read that and be ready to take a quiz on that. All right. Then I also want you to this week to do the TNT survey. Now it's in the back of Workbook 8. All right, and if you look in the back, it's in a section called Miscellany, and there is a full page of instructions. So I'm not going to tell you here because those instructions do a fairly decent job telling you how to submit your work to an email to the editors. I think it's TNT editors at Open or Gmail or something. You check that out, but it'll show you how to submit. And the survey is provided for you in the workbook. Okay, so they put it in there. And I want you to send them an email with your answers, exactly as they're asking you to do it. What I see eventually is I see a list that has your names on it. If your responses were successfully submitted, in other words, a human is going to look at this, all right, and that's the promise that these editors give us, that there's actually a human looking at work that is sent in. If the answers are obviously just junk answers that were just thrown in there to get the thing done, they're going to reject it. You need to try to answer this in good faith. Okay, so I think you have like 10 questions that are asking you from 0 to 7, 0 to 9, whatever, and they see 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. They're going to reject that. Okay, so when they reject your work, you should know that your name's not going to be on the list that I get. And as soon as I see the list of names that were successfully submitted and accepted, I give a 4 to you for that. Okay, so this is an easy A for you to earn. You just need to do that survey right and send it in. And then eventually, as a class, we'll get a PDF that has all the answers and all the names removed, so we'll never know who did what. But we get to see the answers and maybe track some trends and all that sort of thing. But this is the week I want you to do that. So this week you need to write up that report of the meeting that you did for your group project for the field research, the field experiment. I need you to definitely read the book of the Duchess and take the quiz, and I need you to do the TNT survey. I also need you to be watching our space on Blackboard, because there might be a quiz concerning some videos that I may put up over the ones that I put up last week. So please be aware that although you aren't coming to class but for your conference time, you do have work to do in our Blackboard space. So I hope to have encouraged you to get going on that, and I also hope to see you in your conference time.